Welcome everyone to your first drawing assignment for drawing in ceramics. Again, I'm Ms.N and here is my example that I have created for your first assignment. So I want to walk through the process of completing these assignments, especially since we won't be meeting in class face to face. So first I want to start by going over my general expectations for your work. Since we're not meeting in class face to face, there's a few different materials and techniques that I won't be going over with each of you for the different projects that what we would normally be working on. So what I want you to keep in mind is that since you're creating at home, you have the option to have fun with it, and I want you to get creative. So taking some time to have a positive outlook about this experience and say, how can I make art fun for myself when I'm working from home? So my expectations are for you to really try your best. So when you're working on a project, if you need more help, I am going to be here for you. And there's a few ways throughout this video that I'll let you know that you can communicate with me. What I want you to focus on for each project is creating a finished work of art. So not just a quick scribble on paper, not just a quick scribble on a sketch app on your iPad. I want you to work with different materials throughout this process and really try to build your skills and become a better artist as we work together. So since we're not in class, we're just going to have to try and practice that from home. So I'm going to be sharing my screen with you to go over a few directions and where you can find things. So when you are in our class on BB9, if you go over here and click on drawing assignments, this is what you're going to see, or at least something similar. I am looking at my teacher view, but you should see something similar to this. So first thing I want to go over is your instructions. Please read through these carefully on your own so that you really understand what I'm expecting from your projects. Here I go over drawing surfaces. So you can really draw on anything that you have at home. This is where I go over all of the different drawing materials that you can be using. And it does not mention your iPad, because what I want you to do is work with materials like we normally would in class if we were meeting in person. However, if there are certain assignments that you think you could do a better job creating something on your iPad, please just check in with me and we can see if we can make that work. This section goes over how to turn in your drawings. If you go over to turn in assignments here, I have a video where I explain how to do that. And then due dates. So you have a drawing to do every other day. However, if there's a day you don't get one done, you just want to try and get caught up the best you can. You are going to be turning in your assignments at the end of each week. So when I'm ready to start my drawing assignments, right below there, I have a list of your drawing assignments. So for this example, I am working on April 6th. That says, plan and sketch your idea for tomorrow's assignment. So I always give you time to plan and get yourself ready for your assignment. So what I'm gonna plan for is April 7th, draw yourself. You can look in a mirror or take a photo and look at that while you draw. So this is going to be a really great way to get to know each other, because I haven't met you face to face yet, and I can't wait to see how you choose to draw yourself. So it's going to be almost kind of a way that through artwork, you're introducing yourself to me. Now, drawing yourself can be really hard. If you haven't practiced that a lot before, you just want to try your best. So I'm going to share my screen with you again and show you my example. This is the example that I have created for this assignment. And what I did is I took a picture, I took a selfie on my iPad. So for me, that was the easiest way to kind of create a drawing, because I didn't have a mirror that I could easily sit in front of. So if you wanted take a picture, great. You just want to think about like how detailed the picture is. I tried to take one that was nice and close so that it was a little easier to draw, but I also wanted to get my apron in there. I've been wearing that a lot lately as I've been working on art projects from home. So if you're drawing from a mirror, what you're going to have to do is sit in front of that mirror as you work on this assignment. So you might do it all in one sitting, or you might come back to it a few times. Then on the right-hand side over here, I have my sketch. So the first day on April 6th, I'm going to be practicing my assignment. So it is not something that I'm just going to scribble on paper and then take a picture and turn it in. I am going to create a sketch that really shows my idea well. So at the top, I wrote April 7th, draw yourself. So that's the assignment, and that's how I'm keeping my drawings organized. I did this on paper with pencil. If you don't have paper to work on, again, on the assignment on BB9, I go over all of the other options you have to work with. I find sketching in pencil allows me to make some changes and adjustments first before I move on to my finished drawing. So either on April 6th or on April 7th, you're gonna come back to this sketch and finish it. So here is my finished drawing. So here's my sketch, which took me about 30 minutes to draw. I had to make some changes to it and kind of make sure everything looked the way I wanted it to, and then I added a background. And then the next day, if I'm coming back on April 7th to finish my drawing, this part took me about 45 minutes. So it took me a little bit longer, but that's because I did some planning with my material and I thought about how I was going to fill in the space. So one thing that I want to talk about here is what I mean by a finished drawing. So my sketch didn't take up the whole paper, so I could either cut this bottom part off, or I chose to add my name and what I do at Butler Middle School, just to give it a little bit more personality. So I worked on this until I felt like it was finished. It's meant to be black and white in some areas and then have color in others. You can create a finished drawing even with a pencil, maybe by shading spaces in, maybe creating values, so dark to light or light to dark. Any material can be worked with to make it look like it's actually finished. So that's my example, and pictures will be on BB9 for you to look back at. But I also want to talk about a few things with my example in front of me. So I'm, again, just working in my sketchbook. And for other assignments, I might not work in my sketchbook. I might work on something else. So I want to talk to you about what it takes to make a finished work of art. So I want you to think first about craftsmanship. So as I was filling in my idea, I wanted to leave myself black and white. Sometimes I don't like working with color as an artist. I like to create either like pencil drawings or black and white drawings, and that's okay. A piece of art does not have to have a lot of color to be finished. So I wanted to represent that here. Like I could do an outline drawing or a contour line drawing of myself, which I really like that style. So that's why I chose to do it that way. I used an ultra fine point Sharpie, and then I went over some of the lines to make them a little bit thicker. I also used a black Sharpie to fill in my apron because my apron is black. Then when I was using the colored Sharpies, when I thought about craftsmanship, I first laid out all of my Sharpies. So I have them here. I had a bunch to choose from, and what I did is I chose my favorite colors out of all of my Sharpies. And then I put them in order of a pattern. So it goes purple, and then this kind of salmon color, teal, blue. So I laid them out on the table, and I thought what colors would look nice in the order that I want to go in. And then once I finished that order, then that pattern started again. So I'm not just using any colors, but I'm actually thinking about why I'm using the colors that I'm using and how am I going to create a pattern in the background. Then what I did is I used each color in a direction. So some of these colors you can actually see the direction that I was coloring in, and this is helping me have nice craftsmanship. So instead of just like randomly scribbling in the spaces, some areas might be darker, some areas might be lighter, I intentionally took my time, I went nice and slow and filled in the whole section. There's no white spaces in here because it's not meant to have white spaces. So if my intention is to fill an area completely to have nice craftsmanship, that's what I want to do. Then I wanted to make sure it felt finished. So I added a pop of color to my glasses. You can see that I have blue glasses, so I thought that might be fun. I also added color to the art. I have a lot more color on my apron, but I decided that in this image, it would look better maybe with just one color across the letters, and then the white here because it kind of helps balance everything out. So I looked at it and made sure it felt finished and complete. I went over a few more things with Sharpie too. And then I want to think about technique. So when I'm working with Sharpies, I know that they're permanent. So I have made some mistakes on here as I was working, but as an artist, I had to ask myself, how am I going to fix that mistake or hide it, or maybe just leave it and you can't really tell that it's there because there are some spaces here that from further away, you just can't really see them. So some areas that I ran into were these lines down here. And what I did is I just went over them again and again with my Sharpie, and it just made it a little bit thicker and it looked a little bit nicer. I couldn't see like those little mistakes anymore. And then I had a color that actually like was running out, so I had to go over that color with a new one. So that's how I fixed my craftsmanship in that area. But for technique with Sharpie, really all I can do is have nice craftsmanship. For techniques maybe with other drawing materials like colored pencils or pencil, I have a video posted below that goes over drawing techniques. So I go over cross-hatching and stippling and color mixing and value. So if you're looking to enhance your artwork, look for more videos from me on BB9 for improving your technique. That is something that normally, if we were meeting face to face, we would be practicing that more often in class. So I don't want to see just pencil scribbles and okay, I'm done with my picture. We're practicing with different materials throughout this course, and we're trying to learn some different techniques along the way. So don't just stick to what you know already. Use what you know and apply it, but maybe every once in a while start looking around for more videos from me and say, how could I make my drawings even better? That's what I want you to do over time. So if I share my screen with you again, I can show you what I mean by that. All right, so if I am back here on BB9 and I clicked on drawing assignments, okay, again, here's your instructions, here's your drawing assignments, and then here's a drawing techniques video where I go over just a few really quick techniques that might enhance your artwork, no matter what material you're using. I'll also be posting more videos of myself here throughout the course to give you any more help that I can throughout this time. There's also a great YouTube channel here if you'd like to check out Paul Priestley's art, that he has a lot of great examples on how to create all sorts of different types of drawings. So as we're working on drawing techniques or trying to come up with more creative ideas, one way to get a little bit of help from me on that as you're working on your assignments is to tune into my office hours. So if you are looking for more help, my office hours are from 10 to noon each weekday. And a reminder of that's on BB9. I'll have reminders on WebEx. But if you come to WebEx, you can ask me questions. If you email me, you can ask me questions and send pictures of your work. And each day between 10 and noon, you could join my my Zoom meeting. And that's where you could ask me more things kind of face to face. So you have a lot of different ways that you can get some more help from me if you want to improve your artwork and your techniques and you're wanting more. That's my biggest suggestion, is to get help from me during my office hours. So when I'm done with my assignments, then I'm going to go to turn in assignments here. You'll have directions from me. Please watch that video and your assignments below. So there's a lot of different things to think about when you're completing these different drawings throughout the next couple of weeks. But the biggest thing is to have fun with it. Take an idea and create something that you want to create. Keep an open mind, and I can't wait to see what you create. I'm really looking forward to meeting each of you through your self-portraits. So it's a great way to express who you are as a person, and I can't wait to meet you all and to create with you more.